This message is powered by melanin, and in the words of the late great Dick Gregory, when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses, there's rules that goes with them. Number one, you can never take them off. Number two, you don't see things as they should be, you see things as they are. And three, you cannot force anybody else to wear those glasses. And I believe the last time that I left a message, I was mostly gearing my message towards the mature community, only because I know that a lot of the older people that are in my age bracket, which are like 50 and above, I'm a 60s baby, so I grew up in the 60s, and I know how a lot of us was indoctrinated into organized religion. And so exactly the way I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, just the whole 9 yards. But, and I was kind of telling y'all that my spiritual journey kind of started about 2 years ago, or at least I officially accepted the call 2 years ago, even though I can honestly say it started long years before then. But of course, as a child, I did not know exactly what was pulling on my soul, but that's exactly what it was. And of course, as I grew older, I realized it, exactly what it was. But, I was different as a child. I was defiant, I was strong-willed, opinionated. My siblings just kept calling me that I was the black sheep of the family. And I was okay with that as long as I, got my opinion across to whatever was going on. I came from a two-parent household, both mother and father, and they was just, an average struggling black couple with 5 kids. We didn't have all of what we wanted, but we had what we needed. And they just struggled in just a regular, normal kid growing up in, well, at that time, it wasn't the hood, but it quickly became that as time went on. But, they made ends meet. But as they came out of the struggle and they started doing a little better, they sent me and my sister, my youngest sister, to Catholic school. We grew up Catholic, and of course, that was a different experience. Because the priests, they would come out during Mass and they would do these rituals with incense and all kinds of stuff all over us. But they did it while we were in school as well. I would get out of school early every Friday, and they would make sure that when we went home over the weekend, that they cast their spells over top of us. And that's when my, I guess, my imagination and my thoughts of what was really going on with religion started. I did not understand why we had to go into this booth and talk to this man in a dark booth and tell him all of our sins. And I guess he'll tell us how many prayers to recite, and then our prayers or our sins was forgiven. And so every time I had to go in that booth, I had to go to the bathroom, and I would run to the bathroom, and I wouldn't come out until all of that was over, and I never went in those booths again. And so that's where it kind of all started for me. I would get these really strange energies, and I wanted to know more about what was going on. And so as I grew up, I started asking more questions. I went to Catholic high school. I started seeing the priest and the nuns. We were taught by the nuns. And of course, I would have questions. So it all kind of started from there. And as I grew older, I still attended church, sang in the choir, the whole 9 yard. But I did just dug a little bit deeper, and I went down the rabbit hole a little further and a little further every time until I ended up on this journey. And so again, I'm going to support all who think they may be having a spiritual journey, and I will continue with my story on the next video. So thank you for joining me. Bye.